Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews, it's your number one source. Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up? Episode 191. Happy to be back. We are back from the National in Atlantic City. And besides bringing a couple nice cards back with me, I also brought COVID. I've got COVID-19. Took me a while to get it, but I guess it was the National that did it. I've heard a lot of other people that attended the National got it. Wishing, I won't mention them by name with HIPAA, but wishing them all well as well. Monday night, started not feeling great. Tuesday morning, took a test, tested positive. I've got fever, chills, stuffed nose, chest congestion, body aches, all that fun stuff. But, doing all right considering that, getting a little bit better each day. Really stinks because I'm not in school teaching and missing my class, but I also don't want to get them ill. So better I stay home and get non-contagious and then get back to class. So, but the show must go on. This show will be consisting of 5 mini interviews that I did at the show on the show floor of the 42nd Annual National in Atlantic City. This will not be a review of the show. That will be Monday on Hobby Quick Hits. This will just be really the 5 interviews. The 5 interviews are with Peter Steinberg of SGC, Sharon Chung of Black Jaded Wolf, a dealer at the show, another dealer, Andrew Sigerson, Big Poppy 34 on Twitter, who has an amazing collection, especially on the historical side with autographs. We also interview 2 Tims. Tim McEnry from Slabstrong, a business he built from the ground up. We'll talk about that. And the other Tim Virgilio from Signatures for Soldiers. They had a great national. What Tim's done with that charity is nothing short of amazing. So again, these are our mini interviews, really short, 4 to 6 minute type interview. So this episode is going to be on the shorter side. And on Monday, like I said, we'll really dive into my take, how my national was, and the stories behind that on Monday's Hobby Quick Hits. So with that being said, let's start the show.
It's showtime.
Time for our Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week.
Hey everybody, I'm Gary Denier, Thumbs Down Guy. This is the Sports Card Nation podcast. The hobby is for dealers, people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
Introducing the only auction house dedicated exclusively to the cards of the 1990s. Josh Adams and John Linden have created an auction company solely for the rare, scarce, and hard-to-find inserts and parallels of the 1990s. Whether it be basketball, baseball, football, or hockey, 90s auctions will have it. Each auction will consist of smaller lots between 100 and 120 lots, so your cards won't get lost in the shuffle. Founded on the principles of fairness, honesty, and integrity, 90s auction was created by collectors for collectors. Register and consign today at 90sauctions.com. That's 90 little s auctions.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
great conversation coming up right here with Peter Steinberg from SGC. Full disclosure, sponsor of the show, but Pete's been on many times on the show, but we catch up with him on the floor about what's going on at SGC. All right, what's becoming an annual tradition. I always talk to Mr. Peter Steinberg of SGC during the National. Here we are at the 42nd one in Atlantic City, and SGC is always making its presence known. This National is no different, and Peter announced on their social medias something different that would be in the works this year, and it's the pre-grading. So I guess the first obvious question is, I know we're early in the show, Peter, so we still got some show to go, but how's it going so far with that?
It's going really well, John. I mean, definitely, anytime you're rolling out a new service, there's so much that you just don't know about it. You know, it's really impossible to expect and kind of be able to envision all the different circumstances that your team will kind of be hit with and the challenges you'll have to overcome. But the good news is I could say this pretty confidently. About a day and a half into the National now, things are going really, really well. And we're very happy with the way that we're kind of serving the showroom floor as of today.
One thing, a few things actually, I want to point out with this pre-grading that is sort of different and a little bit of a game changer, if you ask me, is, you know, you will pre-grade the card. Whatever you pre-grade the card at, unless someone obviously opens the seal or does something to the semi-rigid, that's what the grade will be should they choose to encase it. And then the other nice perk is, if they go ahead with the full, grading, they're going to get 40% off the grading submission price. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely correct. I mean, a line I've used when describing this service is I think pre-grading and the reviewing of raw cards is really as legitimate as you choose to make it. And what we've tried to do to kind of differentiate SGC's new pre-grade service is make it as legitimate as it can possibly be. Our head grader is actually on site here assigning these grades. And the best thing I can speak to as far as kind of that grade transfer guarantee is really this. It's impossible for us to guarantee the grade simply because once the card leaves our possession, we don't know what's going to happen to it. You could put it out in the sun, you could take it in the ocean, you could crack the card saver in half if you choose to. The bottom line is, as long as that card is in the same condition as when we initially reviewed the card, it should be staying the same based on the fact that this is a real grade assigned by a leading expert in the industry.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. I said we're early into this. Is this something you think you will be doing? I mean, is this going to be a permanent feature, I guess is the question.
I'm always very strategic, John, with kind of my words, because I hate to kind of overpromise and underdeliver rather than the opposite. But I will say this. I've kind of got the go-ahead from my director of operations that things are moving very smoothly. Most importantly, overall, we are very confident in the accuracy of the grades and the quality of the product that we're putting out. And seeing the collector response to this service, at least preliminarily, I think we'd be doing ourselves and the hobby as a whole a disservice to not at least pursue the idea of pre-grading on a wider scale and possibly hitting the show circuit with a service like this one.
Some thoughts. Again, we're early here, but some thoughts of, the crowd, how the response has been publicly, anything new. I know you always allude to something, always something new coming down the pike. Any teases or anything you can say along those lines?
As far as teasing goes, I can just say this. There is, and I mean it when I say, everyone, there is an SGC storm coming after the National. There is so much that we have not been able to pursue with obviously the instability in the grading landscape for so long, with other companies closing, having tremendous backlogs, pricing kind of getting out of control. The nice thing with the landscape kind of stabilizing is finally we can pursue these things that we've wanted to for so long to make the SGC brand even better, even more far-reaching, and most importantly, serving the hobby to the greatest extent that we possibly can. So just know that we have not even a 1-2 punch coming, but we're going to start rope-a-doping here. And I just greatly look forward to announcing some more good news in the near future.
Well, I'm excited. You know how I feel about you, and a little kudos. You got my Grail card in a nice shiny tux, and I shipped it on Monday, and I had it back on Thursday. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous, but made it back safely, and it looks all the more better, in that nice shiny tux.
Well, it means a lot to us, John, to trust our team with a card that means so much to you, and we appreciate everything, man. Thanks so much for the support.
Thank you, as always. Like I said, we'll do this. We'll do this every year, and then maybe a time in between too. Thanks, Peter.
Sounds great, John. Thanks so much.
Time to hear from one of our great sponsors, but Sports Card Nation will be right back after that.
Are you a new sports cards collector or someone returning to the hobby? Maybe you're just looking for a friendly, trustworthy hobby community to hang out with and enjoy collecting. Midwest Box Breaks has been bringing collectors together for many years with affordable breaks, helpful threads, and a Discord group packed with generous people who genuinely care about the hobby and other collectors. Check out the breaks at MidwestBoxBreaks.com. Our goal is to bring you as much value as possible. Also, find us on Twitter at MidwestBoxBreaks.
Hey folks, John here. Just wanted to remind you, use the discount code MBB10 for 10% off your first order at MidwestBoxBreaks.com.
Let's go! You are listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast.
All right, we're going to speak with Tim McInerney from Slabstrong, who built his product from the ground up. Very proud of it. Worked hard, grinded. You may recognize him, seeing him with the chain with the card around, but more likely you recognize him with the big, oversized Slabstrong hat. So here's that conversation. All right, I'm here with Tim from Slabstrong here at the 42nd National here in Atlantic City. I'm going to apologize on the air to Tim. I told him we'd have him on. I know we had him on the plug, the card for signatures for Soldiers, but I wanted to talk about his product, and awesome that he's doing that. But I want to talk about Slabstrong. Talk about how you came up with the idea, and then the process of getting it lifted off the ground.
Yeah, sure. So, honestly, in the beginning, I just simply wanted to change the color of slabs. I wanted to design them different. And then once I started injection molding with the silicone rubber, I actually started throwing it. And that's when it became a protection item. I just wanted to make it look cool. And now it works. I think the name brand has worked, and I've just been grinding now for almost 2 years. And it's just been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, how you made it sound simple. Obviously, it's not as simple as you made it sound. Talk about maybe some of the difficulties you had, at least in the early going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, one of the things was my prototype was 3D printed. It wouldn't have worked in terms of dropping it, right? It was too brittle. Now, I don't know anything about injection process. I've been a restaurant manager my whole life. So it's not just trying to figure out your product, but also how to run a business. I've always run other people's business, never my own. But yeah, it was really interesting trying to find an American manufacturer as well that could do it for me. So it was a long process, a lot of stress, but most amazing couple of years of my life. So even through all that stress, I wouldn't change a thing.
No, listen, I see you everywhere at all the shows. Like, talk about, like, the grind. I mean, I don't know where you get your energy from, but talk about, I know it's fun, obviously, but it's also, it's work. You're working, this is your brand, your product. Just talk about, the dedication that, people think it's all fun and games. And it is fun, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, and make no mistake, I'm absolutely working hard. But even this interview right here kind of proves that what I've been done is working, because networking for me has been the most important part. I had to have a good product. I feel like I'm a good person. But networking, I've gotten so much love from the hobby, and truly without my fiance, without my backing my parents, without people in the hobby such as yourself having my back. So the grind to me is, it's a little bit easy because part of it is being a good person, right? And I just know I am. but there's still enough people to say no. Not everyone likes it, right? So you just gotta keep grinding. I keep meeting people, just introducing myself, and that's where the grind is. And I absolutely have a great time doing it. Like meeting everyone. Like we're in a kids game, right? I love this.
Yeah. And Tim, you know how this works. Anytime someone develops a new product, a new company, right? You got your copycat companies that try to kind of come up behind, maybe ride some coattails. Now, how do you deal with stuff like that?
So part of the grind of having a good product is also I know you can't see me on this right now, but I wear the big slab chain and I wear the big hat. So I've actually created a brand for myself just beyond what the product is. So yeah, absolutely. This competition now, I would have to say in a kind of cocky, humble manner that I don't think these other ones have a true face to them. I don't know where people are looking. I do think that there is something to having a good person behind the product. So I don't have a problem with competition. I welcome it. It actually showed there's a market for it, right? Yeah. Imagine if there was no things. And so I appreciate everything. I'm just going to outwork them, outgrind them.
I always laugh when I watch some of your social media and you're chucking these graded cards. And I think to myself, obviously, your product's doing what it's supposed to do and advertised to do. But who the heck is throwing, under normal conditions, who's throwing their graded cards?
I had to do something. And can I be honest with your fans? The first time I have an original video where I had to figure out, I had to drop it, I had to throw it. I had a few beers, and I went out to my second floor balcony, threw it off the balcony. Once it hit the cement and didn't break, I had no fear. I met John throwing it at him. I meet everybody throwing it, and I only get a few people. I think a lot of people understand I'm doing it for the product, but I have got a few people that are like, hey, the card inside can break, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, no, if you're out there, if you hear heads up, I'm somewhere around and there's going to be a slab coming at you. So if you hear heads up at a card show, just everybody out there duck.
Yeah, and going back to that Pat Tillman card, and then you came up with the Stars and Stripes Slabstrong, and if you haven't seen that card, go bid on it. But that Slabstrong with that card, I mean, it's insane. It's beautiful. It pops, and I mean, I don't want you to give away all the secrets, but what do you got coming down the line?
Yeah, so since the American flag thing, the whole Pat Tillman thing, that was literally part of my original dream when I did this. So right now I'm able to print single logos on. I'm able to print kind of a Louis Vuitton pattern. I'm going to go custom. I have CSG will be coming out. Right now I have the top 4 brands. CSG will be coming out soon. I'm just going to keep pushing. I got One Touches coming out that can be branded. I'm not going to stay in one place. I'm going to keep improving not only on myself as a businessman, but my product. And so we're going to have custom stuff and just kind of look out for the future because even I don't know it yet what's about to happen, but I just know that I'm going to keep grinding.
Well, listen, I see your passion, man. You're grinding, you're working hard, you're having fun, you're smiling. Your style is different and unique. We need more of that sometimes in this hobby. Thanks for giving us some time today.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Time for a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, have you heard about Collectible? It's the one-stop shop where any collector can buy and trade affordable shares in some of the most rare and valuable sports cards and memorabilia in the world, starting from just $5. From 1952 Mickey Mantle PSA 10s and Wilt Chamberlain's iconic rookie uniform to one-of-one Patrick Mahomes RPAs, rare LeBron James logo mans, and everything in between, Collectible is creating never-before-seen access and opportunities for all. Let's grow the hobby we love together. Please note this is not a recommendation or solicitation to buy any security. All investment decisions should be undertaken after doing your own research.
We are back.
All right, our next interview comes by way of Sharon Chung from Black Jaded Wolf. She's been on the show before, and her and Chewy and staff do all the major shows. They're from Brooklyn, New York, and caught up with her on the floor of the National. Here's that interview. All right, we're on the floor of the 42nd National here in Atlantic City, and we're going to interview someone's been on the podcast before, and great lady, Sharon from Black Jaded Wolf. This is Thursday, so we're headed into technically day 2.5. So, I guess first obvious question, right? How was yesterday?
It was pretty busy. A lot of people wanted to sell, but
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of, as we all know, right? A lot of the cases going around. So, what's your approach? With when someone asks you if you're buying, like, does it depend on the time of day, or you're pretty,
I'm always buying, but there was a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
But I always look at least to see the options I have, before I even turn it down. I never just say no. But,
Yeah. So this is, what number national is this for you?
15.
Wow. So you're a grizzled veteran, as we like to say. What do you think the next few days are going to bring, if you had to put your prediction hat on?
Today's the real retail day, so what happened today kind of will carry on till Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's going to be some retail. I think the market has kind of dipped a little, that it opens up like the retail people to come back in and kind of buy again. So
yeah, what I say on my show, Sharon, right? It's a good opportunity to buy some stuff, and a lot of people talk about Atlantic City, this locale. They're not always fond of it. You're from New York. It's closer, probably obviously the closest national event. Like, your thoughts on Atlantic City and the locale?
I like the show because it's home field for me.
Yeah.
But to me, obviously, Chicago is still the best market because a lot of West Coast people come. But it is the national, and they're breaking record this year. Apparently, there's more tickets sold this year than last year. So I'm expecting good things.
Yeah, and I'll concur. I'm a New York City kid originally, as you know, but now in Syracuse. So I got to drive to this one. So I'm fortunate. But one last question. I know you're busy, but what's been with the yesterday? What was probably the hot item or hot player that people were kind of clamoring for?
You are listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Like the athletes we admire, the Sports Card Shop is changing the game. We're not launching threes, bombing drives, or hitting dingers, but we have built a unique gathering spot for all collectors to trade cards, talk sports, play games, and watch their favorite athletes on the big screens. Yes, we've partnered with Panini, Upper Deck, Leaf, Topps, Fanatics, Pokemon, and others to bring you all the latest in sealed wax and singles. But the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan is much, much more. Our recent expansion brings collectible sneakers, Hot Wheels, and more sports and entertainment memorabilia into the mix. Our new Collector's Cave game room is the perfect place to throw a rip party, bring friends, rip packs, trade cards, play billiards, ping pong, shuffleboard, classic arcade, and Xbox games, all while watching your favorite sport on TV. Visit us at thesportscardshop.com. Follow us on social @_sportscardshop, or better yet, visit us in person to learn about special events, party packages, new products, and everything we're doing for you. The Sports Card Shop, connecting people, sports, and the hobby around the world.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's return to the show.
Next interview is with Andrew Sigerson, Big Poppy 34 on Twitter, who has quite the autograph collection, autograph cards, and some crazy memorabilia. Museum quality, always sets up at the National. This one's a little different because he couldn't. Chicago, he can bring more stuff because he drives, but had to fly in. So we're going to learn a little more about that. All right, I'm with Andrew Sigerson, Big Poppy 34 on Twitter, at his booth here at the 42nd Annual National Convention. I spoke to him last year. We did this little mini interview, so I figured let's catch up with them again. I guess first question, I mean, we still got time left, but have you noticed any difference from last year's National to this year's National?
I would say it's more crowded. I think there's more people at this National than there was last year. Seen a lot of kids, a lot of women. I think it's a lot more diverse, which makes sense because we're in the East Coast versus the Midwest. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear you say about, it does seem busier, and, a lot of people complain about getting to Atlantic City, but they're still finding their way here. And yes, a lot more women, which is obviously a positive thing. Now, for this show, you told me, off the air that you can't bring as much stuff. But talk about the process of like what makes the cut and what doesn't.
Yeah, I really argued with myself a lot about it because I like to bring my nice stuff out, and it attracts other people with nice stuff, and we can talk about it, maybe trade or maybe buy some things, but just can't bring it all. So I left a lot of my Ortiz stuff at home. I left all my Dever stuff at home. Still brought some of my Ruth stuff, but when I go to Chicago, I can drive there, so I can bring probably twice as much as I brought here. But still, it's fun, and there's some nice stuff.
Yeah, and if you ever seen Andrew's inventory, it's a museum in itself. It's incredible. Have you got a chance to walk around and even see about adding to your inventory?
Yeah, I have. I've walked around a little bit. I've probably seen maybe a third of the floor. I'll probably do more of that this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. We have to leave Sunday morning, so I can't stay for the Sunday, which is usually a good day. But, yeah, I've seen some really nice stuff out here. Man, everything's out here as usual. Although I'll tell you, there's virtually no Dever stuff out here. I mean, it's amazing that stuff just doesn't exist in these shows. I don't know where they are.
I think they know you're here, and they're trying to drive the price up online. Have you noticed anything pricing-wise? We know the market is a little down, a little correction, if you will, whatever you want to term it. What have, for the time you've walked around and looked at other showcases, any commentary there, any that you've noticed?
Well, I mean, you talk to other collectors, what they're hearing is people are still wanting prices on their stuff that they would have gotten a couple months ago. The lower end of the market, or maybe the more voluminous side of the market where there's a lot of graded material, that's down. But the trophy stuff, the higher end stuff, that stuff has not gone down. I mean, some of it has, but if people want something, they know that there's very little of it. They want it. They're going to buy it. That price market is still high.
Yep. Well, Andrew, I'll let you get back to your booth, but I appreciate it. Once again, we'll probably have to make this an annual tradition.
Sounds good. Enjoy it every time. And if you've never been to a National, you need to come.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Someone's at my door. I've got to get that. Be right back.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com. Or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
Sports Card Nation has returned.
Our next conversation's with Tim Virgilio, Signature Soldiers, a veteran of the show and someone we supported through the years from the early onset. And once again, the charity of choice for this year's National. So we catch up with Tim right here. All right, we're here on the show floor at the National here in Atlantic City. And I'm joined now by my good friend Tim Virgilio from Signatures for Soldiers. And, I don't have to say he's been on many times, but they obviously raise money for soldiers injured and wounded and do a lot of great things. And first question, I guess, how's it going so far?
Good. Yesterday was the sneak peek for the VIPs. It was overall really good day. With today being the first day for general admission, really excited to kind of see how things are going. But yeah, so far we're having fun, meeting great people, getting the word out, and raising a little bit of money.
Yeah, a little bigger space, I think, this year. And if few other different things we'll talk about, and one of them being Tim with Pristine handling the auction. You got a lot more lots. They're doing a bulk of the work, and you've got some great items. Just talk about the significance of that to what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah, being the charity partner for the National this year is again a true blessing, and then having Pristine involved to be the auction platform. They've been great. Obviously, built-in audience where we're getting a lot of eyes on the items that are currently up for bid, which ends Saturday, July 30th. And 100% of the bid price is going to come back to Signatures for Soldiers. So it's been great. They've been great to work with. Really, really supportive, and everything's great.
Yeah, and again, I always like to toot this horn because it's true, and it's not always true when you talk about charities. But all monies raised are going to the charity to help those folks out. You started a few years back with a $500 goal. I chuckle because of where you've come, and very quickly. I think that's a testament to you, and you've added Eric Norton as the chairman, and you have a board, and it's just amazing how fast and how far you've come in a short amount of time. Kind of talk all about that, even just from that 500. I know you've talked about it before on the show, but you never know who's listening for the first time. Just talk about the trajectory of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. People give me a lot of credit for the work that I do, but it's honestly, I can't do it without the support that I've gotten from the hobby community. The outpouring has been phenomenal. Original goal was $500 because, who am I? I'm just some schmo, that most people wouldn't even know. But, with the support that we've gotten behind it, we started the National just under $150,000 in total funds raised. And it's literally been, a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. And, every dollar adds up very quickly. So Signatures for Soldiers has become much more than just a fundraising effort. It's really become a community effort and a community for people to come together and, have shared values. So it's been great.
Well, yeah, I know you sort of deflected some credit there, but I'll give it to you. I mean, this was your brainchild, and from that 500 goal, like you said, over 150K, just even saying that this speaks volumes to the work you do, the lot of work you do, and obviously your team as well. And like I said to you before we were recording, after this Pristine auction closes, I think I think you're going to eclipse the 200K mark, and just from $500, what you were thinking when you started this journey to that, it's amazing, and you're not done. You're going to keep doing this, I'm assuming, and just going to get bigger and better every year. And again, it's a great cause when we think of where those funds are going to people who, defended this country and sacrificed, some things in the process. So, thank you, and keep going, and have a great rest of the show.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man.
You're
Good
welcome.
to see you.
You too.
Bye.
Time to hear from one of our great sponsors, but Sports Card Nation will be right back after that.
Pastime Marketplace has a line of graded card cases that are waterproof, airtight, dust-tight, and hardened to protect and organize your valuable collection. Each of our cases come with pre-cut and pre-formed foam, so you don't have to cut and tear the foam when you get your case. The pre-cut foam inserts are sized to hold PSA, Beckett, SGC, and CGS slabs. Store it all safely and securely with a case from Pastime Marketplace. Check them out at www.pastimemarketplace.com.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Sports Card Nation. If you went to the National, hope you were doing well and didn't contract COVID as I did. If you're not feeling good, extra tired, some kind of flu-like symptoms, please take a test just to make sure either way. That way we can, have less spread. But, it took me all this time to finally get it. We're just wondering if I'd get it and when. And I guess it took a big event for the National to get me. If I had any interactions with you, which I had, quite a bit, not knowing. I don't know when I got it, what day or whatnot. But if you, any one of those folks, and you might be best to err on the side of caution. So with that being said, I'm going to work on getting some rest as I have this week off, unfortunately. Not the way I wanted to get some time off, but going to catch up on some rest and sleep, drink some fluids, take some meds, and hopefully get back to normal ASAP. With that being said, again, Monday's show will be the full-on review of the National, and we'll see you next time here on Sports Card Nation.